Who's ready for some on-road action? If you're an on-road RC driver, you're already aware of the Traxxas 4-Tec. The Corvette is a blast to rip up the streets with, the Hot Rod really cool for cruising around parking lots, and if you've been hoping for something a little bit more race-like, we've got something for you to check out, the new Supra GT4. Now this looks really cool. A Toyota Gazoo Racing Supra GT4. Man, this thing looks fast just standing still. This is on the Traxxas 4-Tec 3.0 chassis. It's a ready-to-run car. You will need batteries and a charger to get it going. But this looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun for those that maybe wanna, race against some buddies, take it to a track, or just rip up the street with, which is probably what I'm gonna do. We're gonna hit a parking lot with it later, but let's talk about the details on here. Mostly, it's all in the body. There's a few changes to the chassis, which we're gonna go over, but let's start looking at this body. This is painted from the factory, decal, comes out of the box just as you see it, and the paint on here is really sharp. The red, the black, the white, really sharp lines on here, and it's a two-piece body. So the rear bumper cover on here is a separate piece. There's a little screw in the back, but let's start off in the front here. Check out this lower splitter. That is actually molded plastic, part of the front bumper. And then up here, the grills are actually molded plastic as well. And they did that because, as you can see, there are no body mounting holes on here. The front grille is part of the clip system that holds the body down in the front. So there's just a single clip under here in the front splitter, and you pop that up and the body comes off in the front, and I'll show you how it comes off in the rear. But really liking the body mounting system, so there are no body clips. Now the hood vent is a separate molded piece as well, just adds a little bit more detail. The windows aren't clear, but it looks pretty cool as is. It gives a nice tinted look, and the mirrors are molded separate as well. The rear wing is a molded piece, and that is part of the rear body mounting system. So again, you just slip your hand under the rear of the body, push one clip in, and the back of the body will come up. So just two clips, and you'll be able to remove the body on this. So here is some of the detail in the rear of the car that you need to see. Really nicely molded Lexan, and they have these black chrome exhaust tips. That gives the car a really, really good look. But look at the lines on here, they nailed it. This is a really sleek looking body. I bet you that's just gonna look so good on the track. Or again, ripping around parking lots as well. Now on all four corners, we have wide rubber tires. They're a kind of Pirelli looking style of race tire. And then they're mounted on these OZ style wheels. They're not licensed. I'm just throwing those names out there because that's what they look like to me, but really love these wheels. And then if you look deep inside of the wheel, you can see the brake calipers and brake discs. This car has a lot of scale detail to it. All right, let me pop the body off and we'll talk about what they changed up on the chassis. All right, so here is the 4-Tec 3.0 chassis, and the chassis is actually different. So between all the 4-Tecs, what they're doing is they're changing up the chassis length, and they're doing that so the body proportions look really good. They're not forcing the body onto an existing chassis. They're actually changing the chassis so everything looks as it should. So this chassis is different, and I kind of screwed that up. I think it was in the Hot Rod video. I said it was a similar chassis to, I think, the Ford, but it's not. So if you're gonna go and swap bodies out on a 4-Tec, just keep in mind chassis lengths here. And what also changes with the chassis length is the center shaft. And this is a nice steel center shaft in here, ball bearing supported, but pretty much everything else here are parts that we've seen before on the 4-Tec. I'll start up front though with some changes. Here is a closer look at the splitter. Got a foam front bumper, and then there is the body mounting system. And it looks like they even have a little slot here for a sway bar if you want to go add that later. Got oil-filled shocks front and rear, just fixed links everywhere, so that makes it nice and easy. You don't have to worry about camber rods moving or changing if you run into curbs or anything like that. But these are nice stout suspension arms, really good looking hubs on here, nice composite plastics like we've seen from Traxxas before, and the suspension just feels really good. It always does on these 4-Tecs. Now the driveline on here, we've got gear differentials with steel gears, front and rear, greased from the factory. Steel dog bones, steel axles on here, and again, that center shaft is steel as well. They do give you an optional pinion gear in the kit, so it's set up out of the box for general driving, so it doesn't overheat the electronics or anything like that, but they do give you a high-speed 22-tooth pinion with it. So if you want to go do some speed runs, hit that top speed of 30 miles an hour that they have on the box, you could swap out that pinion gear. And of course, they give you some tools in the kit as well, some basic tools so you can go and do that. All right, so let's talk about the electronics really quick. We've got a 2075 servo up front, a standard torque servo fitted with a servo saver out to the bell cranks there, so that protects the servo in case you run into a curb. We have the proven XL5 speed controller. This is good for 8.4 volt nickel metal hydrides or 2S LiPo batteries. And then the Titan 12-turn 550 motor. That motor is just a beast for a brush motor. Again, that will get it up to 30 miles an hour with the speed gear in there. Plenty of space to go and put a 2S LiPo battery if you want to. That's what we're going to run it on. And let me give you a closer look at the chassis here. There is that new centered chassis section. And as you can see, everything's kind of modular here. We've got a separate plate up front for the front section. Same with the rear section, little tiny splitter out back. And then let me just show you really quick the rear body mounting system. Again, all you gotta do is lock the clips into the holes there, and it secures the body really well. That's all you really need to know about the chassis here. Again, here's a closer look at those tires now that I have the body off. Really good looking tire, really firm insert in there as well. That's a racing like tire, and I like how wide it is. That should provide plenty of grip out on the asphalt. All right, just want to show you guys really quick the box art. I love the box art from Traxxas. And here is what comes in the kit. So there is the 22-tooth pinion gear that you could throw on to go high speed, your basic tools, some preload clips for the shocks, and then of course all your manuals for the included electronics that will get you all up and running. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to throw this system in here. So they sell these starter packs, and it comes with the charger and the battery all in one, and that'll get you going. I'm going to use the 2S 5800 milliamp LiPo battery. So we can go and have plenty of runtime out in a parking lot. So I'm going to go find a cool place to run. Let's go drive this thing. All right, drivers, time for a little rip around the parking lot. And I don't know if it's just because it looks faster, but this seems a little faster than the other 4-Tecs I've driven. I don't know, this thing just looks cool. That's quick. This is stock out of the box with a 2S LiPo battery, Traxxas power cell. That's quick for this parking lot size. I think this is perfect. I should have brought some cones with me. I always forget the cones. But anyway, the big fat tires on the front here, these are awesome for off-power steering. Nice and smooth turning, full control. Rear end doesn't really break out. That's why you notice on some of the other 4-Tecs, the rear end was a little loose, a little chatter in the rear. But this one, with these tires on here, pretty dialed. I could definitely see this becoming like a really cool parking lot racing class. Maybe at hobby stores, that would be really awesome. Maybe a spec 4-Tec class. This would be the car to do it with. This thing handles so good. Look at that. Let me do an on power turn for you. Little Y, little push, little understeer, if you will. There we go. You just let off. That thing just pulls right in. Look at that. Just a little slide in the rear. That's awesome. This car is pretty dialed. I've hit a few other parking lots with this already. Got 1 or 2 more planned just to test it out, see if anything wears on it. But the 4-Tec is such a good platform. It does have brake is good, reverse. Watch this. Listen to those tires grip. Those are some awesome tires on there. Really good stuff. Look at that, I love that. Just a little loose, get a little loose in the rear. Adds to the fun factor. Slamming on that drivetrain, throw it in reverse, seems to handle it. You're not supposed to do that, but I'm testing it out. Want to make sure everything's good. Love that grip of those tires. Look at that. I gotta do it one more time. Ready? Just love watching them grab. That's cool. All right, this is an awesome looking car. It handles really well. I mean, this is just, this is an unprepped surface here. All sand and rocks. Just really cool. All right, let's head back to the studio and we'll wrap up this review. So I think the GR Supra is my favorite 4-Tec. I don't know what it is about this car, but it just seems to be a little quicker out of the box. Maybe it's just the look, but it definitely handles really well. And I think a big part of that is the tires. The tires just seem to grip. They have the right firmness, the right width. And so when you're going into a corner off power, it just dives right in. On power, it's got some really good grip to it. Maybe it checks up a little bit in the rear, but you're under control through the whole driving experience. It was just so cool to rip around on this thing. You guys heard how excited I was while I was driving it. It was just a lot of fun. They did a great job on this car. It just has the right wheelbase to it, so it performs really, really well. Now, I'm gonna leave the top speed testing up to a follow-up video, but as you guys saw, it's pretty quick out of the box. It's got some really good acceleration to it, and again, those tires are just so grippy. When I threw it in reverse and then nailed it, you could see that the tires just grabbing. That was totally awesome. Very cool looking car. Love the Supra body. Love that it doesn't have any body clips on there. Really easy to take the body on and off. That front splitter is really rad as well. Awesome car. I'm really looking forward to doing that speed test. If you have any questions about the car, throw in the comment section below. I'll try to address them in that video. While you're down in the lower section, I'll have links in the description. Hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like, and we'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.